Alright, this is my last speech for the class. My name is Shane Higgins, and my speech was going to be on the mandated military service. As I mentioned in my previous speech for the informative part of it, I was having difficulty justifying the mandatory military service part of this speech. I changed it up to do mandatory federal service. Federal would imply government, as I was talking with a few of my counterparts at work. So I'm changing it again to mandatory, what's the word we're looking for? Mandatory service. It's not going to be government, it's not state, it's just national service. So state, federal, however you want to look at it, that's the mandatory service that I'm referring to when I say mandatory service, just to clarify that. So let's go with the first and foremost. I'm going to persuade you into believing basically my views on why we should do mandatory service. All right, so here we go. In the years between 1952 and 2012, according to the Associated Press Election Research Group from George Mason University, there was 55.5% people actually voted for their presidents that were elected. So in 2012, if you look at this, 2012, there's 239,405,657 people who were of age to vote. Who were registered to vote, there was 197,828,022 people who actually registered to vote. And only of that was 126 million people who actually turned out to actually vote, whichever side they chose. Now, having said that, 55% of the people who actually voted, or 55% of the people who were eligible to vote, actually voted. Now, we've all been the locker rooms, you're at work, just social interactions in general. Someone that you know or yourself is unhappy with the way society has become. Having said that, what better way to make a change to this? I propose, and I'm a firm believer in this, that if I was king for the day, I would actually change a whole bunch of stuff. I would not remove, don't get me wrong before I say this, I would not remove anyone's rights in any way, shape, or form. But I'm going out there right now and saying, no one has the right to vote, to go to public office, or to do anything on those lines if they have not served. My proposal is that you do a mandatory service of your choice. In 1961, President Kennedy came up with the Peace Corps. His speech at the American University just before the executive order dropped was, the Peace Corps is to promote world peace and friendship through the Peace Corps, which shall make available to any interested countries or areas where men and women of the U.S. who are qualified to serve abroad and are willing to serve under conditions of hardship or necessity to help peoples of interested countries and areas in meeting their needs for trained manpower. So in a sense, if you can build a road, you can build a house, you can do politics and or medicine even, that's a special good one right there. You can go to these foreign countries and you can help them out build their infrastructure. In 1993, President Clinton took the concept of the Peace Corps and made it internal. Habitat for Humanity, when he designed the AmeriCorps. Same concept, same principalities behind it, but building America's infrastructure. These are all items that I would like to see people actually be told that they have to do. Not saying the military, not saying any other specific areas, but think about what FDR did for the nation, and when we were coming out of the poverty and everything else, coming off of the Great Depression, roads, dams, a prime example, the Hoover Dam right around here. He created jobs. There's so many jobs that were created, but the problem is now is our infrastructure has become a me society. What can you do for me? President Kennedy also said, ask not what you can do, or ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Exactly. Problem is we, again, like I said, we're a me society. We're a self-entitled society. We see it every day where a person doesn't have to lift a finger, but they can get all the benefits get afforded to them. Why is this? Because nobody's holding them accountable. Nobody's holding anybody accountable in this nation. We're not a happy, I forgot the actual words that my friend used, but a society built on the actual nation itself. The concept of helping one another is lost on these last, I would almost go 3, maybe even 4 generations. Sadly, my generation is probably the start of the serious decline that we've had, if not before me. I was just raised old school and believe the way we're supposed to have it. If we were to take everyone's right to vote away from them, and make you earn your right to be a citizen, I believe that would fix a lot of our problems. And I know it kind of sounds weird, and you might actually sound a little familiar. Believe it or not, the whole concept when this class was starting, I was having a few drinks and I was watching a really horrible movie that was done about 16, 17 years ago called Starship Troopers. The concept that's underlying in there, I mean, the movie was horrible, don't get me wrong, but the concept that was there led me to do some more research, and I found out that it was actually based on a book. Skewed from the book, but based on the book. And Paul Verhoeven, actually, the concept was that the world, not America, the world was governed by a democracy in which those who served in the military can vote. I kind of believe this, and this is where it stemmed the whole concept, where my original idea was everybody has to join the military. But you get into the whole concept of 1973 when we last did the draft, and everybody sees Vietnam, everybody sees you're taking away my rights and forcing me into a military. And quite frankly, me being in the military, I don't want somebody who is forced in the military to cover my 6. So that's where I started to kind of peter off of forced military. There are many pros to that, but I'm just going to leave that as a vague area and just go to this very broad one right now. Again, king for the day, I would take away everyone's rights to voting. You no longer have a say. Half of you don't even say anything anyway, so why should that even matter? So I take away your rights to vote. I take away anyone's rights to want to become president, to become governor, to become local sheriff, to become a senator, to become Congress in general, to become any of these positions unless you've done military service. And the reason why I say that is because I don't want you, who has never shed blood in the same mud as me, to make decisions that you don't know how to base those decisions on. Anybody can sit behind a desk and tell me what to do. That doesn't make you right. It doesn't make you understand the sacrifices that we have to make to be the #1 military that we are. So that right gone. I'm going to say it right now. That's the only one I'm actually going to take away. For everybody else, fresh out of high school, I demand a 4-year commitment to the service. You can do Peace Corps. You can go build a house in Ecuador. You can give inoculations in South Africa or Uganda or wherever. You can help build dams. You can join the Guard and Reserve and never deploy and strictly go to school and take care of your state. So Mississippi, Louisiana, Hurricane Katrina, kicked your guys' butts. I get it. And you all wanted handouts. Why not take care of your state, build up your city, take care of the people that are there? Help the people who couldn't afford to move to, where did they go again? Oh yeah, the Astrodome. Take care of those people who couldn't get out of their homes. Take care of the people who are in your community. Why should those people suffer because you're too selfish to help your neighbor? It's a me society right now, and I'm trying to alleviate that. If you are mandatory to be part of the service, you have a vested interest in taking care of one another. If you don't have a vested interest in your community, in your society, in your country, leave. You don't like it, get out. Most of the other countries mandate that as a civilian or as a citizen of their country that you are mandated to their service. So it's a catch-22 on your end. Now, having said that, for the mandatory service, I'm even going so far as to say, become a school teacher, become a Boys and Girls Club volunteer. Do something to where you're giving back to your community. You do all these things for 4 years, and we're gonna freeze at, I haven't figured out when I'll be king for the day, but I'm just saying, let's choose right now. So the people who are born today and later, it doesn't apply to you, but anybody who's born behind today, all the people who are older than 1 year old behind me, they all get today's college tuition paid for at this price. This is what you get. Anybody else after that, I say every college that's worth a college, the worth the university degrees, everything that's actually worth something and transfer into society, increase their cost, increase the tuition by, let's go 500%. So now you can't afford to go to college. The only people who can afford to go to college is people who give back to their community. All the people who just go and just kind of float around in society, we have no use for that. We have no use for the drains on society. That is exactly what's killing this nation right now, and we're going to take all of your rights away from you. You don't have the right to Social Security. You don't have the right to welfare. You don't have the right to all that stuff. Now, a lot of you are saying, whoa, you're taking a lot away from people. Welfare and Social Security. Obviously, you don't get Social Security unless you put in on it. So that's going to come with your service. Fine and dandy. Now, for welfare, I get it. Man, I'm coming out of the military in 15 months. I'll be retired. Do I know what I'm going to be when I grow up? Not a clue. Yes, I'm working on my college right now, but to be honest with you, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And I build bombs in the military, so I'm not really marketable on the outside. So what can I do when I get out? What exactly can I do when I get out? I don't know. So can I collect unemployment? Sure, I could. Can I collect welfare? I don't know what the stipulations for welfare are, but I know there's a lot of people who are milking the system, which is where I'm going with this one. I get it. If you collect these welfare and unemployment, it's going to be on a temporary basis. It's honestly going to be on a temporary basis. And you have to take the jobs that are offered to you. Otherwise, you're just a drain on society and you're just continuing this vicious cycle again. So when I say, okay, you've been on welfare right now for the past 6 months and unemployment for the past 6 months, what have you done to get out of it? Oh, you haven't done anything? Oh, well, I got the perfect job for you. You see, there's a roads and grounds crew that's just down the road down here on I-15 who's been working on changing the whole thing, and there's also a roads and grounds crew just over here from my apartment. The water abatement system in the city of Las Vegas is horrible because the town has grown up so huge that they can't figure out how to take care of the water when it runs off the mountains over here, and we flood our city out. So you're going to go on one of those construction crews. There, you have a job. End of story. If you don't take that, we're taking all that back from you, and you don't get to reapply for another year. So, yes, we're going to have people who are going to be poor. We are going to have people who are going to be out of a job, out of a home probably. However, if they are willing to do something for themselves, they'll get help. That's all there is to it. Help you, and we will help you. If you don't help yourself, why should we help you? You're just going to be a drain on our society. Now again, I get it. There's people who can't work. There's people who are disabled. There's people who are, for the military side of it, unfit to join the military. We get it. I understand it. This is not a perfect theory or process right now. And obviously it's not a process yet. But there's going to be flexibility to this. You can't just throw a new change in it. Trust me, we've tried it in the military. It doesn't work. You can't just throw this new process out there and just expect everybody to abide by it. I get it. There's going to be people who are too heavy. You can't join the military. People are too short. You can't join the military. You can't see colors. You can't join the military. Excuse me. There's always going to be different aspects or reasons why you can't do certain things. But there's other avenues out there for you to do work to help this nation. and helping the nation, you're helping yourself. Helping yourself, you're helping your community. Helping your community, you're helping everyone involved. Everyone has a vested interest in making this a better society. The problem is nobody wants to do it. They're all about handouts. Why should you get a handout if you don't do anything to earn it? That's where I'm coming from. I don't think that I've really hit two aspects on this. It's kind of a blurred line, if you will. The concept is so broad that cutting it down to an 8 to 10 minute speech, almost impossible. I would love to stick with the military concept on it, but that one is automatically just going to be a hate fest that you just can't actually do that one. And in all honesty, I don't believe it. Again, like I said, I don't want somebody who doesn't have a vested interest covering my 6, because I'm going to end up dead, and it's just not good for anyone. So in closing, my theory behind mandatory military or mandatory service would be, you're not an actual citizen of the United States unless you've proved that you are a citizen of the United States. By proving that you are a citizen of the United States, you are proving that you are part of our nation, that you are willing to help the people in your society. By helping your society, you are helping America, our country, grow stronger. We have a strong country, nobody's going to mess with us. And that sounds very military, I get it, but that's not the intent behind that. With that, I'd like to also say that the thought process of the military part of it, I know there's going to be some financial aspects behind it, but if we were to actually go to the mandatory military service and everybody was perfectly fine with that concept, we could honestly follow suit with I believe it's Sweden or Norway. I don't remember which one it was, but during my research, I found out that one of those two countries, their concept behind that is, as a man or a woman, you will join the military for no less than 18 months. With that, if you join, and it's called conscription, if you don't join the military but you do the conscription as well, you can do 12 months as a teacher, as a trash guy, as whatever, and then you're out. So there's going to be people who like doing the military work, like doing the military aspect, enjoy the fact that all the freedoms and abilities that you have as a citizen, granted they're taken away from you as a military member, but in a year and a half when you're out, you'll understand where all this comes from. And the concept of being a warmonger for mandatory military service, Sweden has never picked a side in whichever country it was. I believe it was Sweden. Never picked a side in any war that they've ever been. They've always been neutral. Nobody has ever invaded or conquered Sweden, ever. And what happens there is they're what's it called? Not murder. It's going to be on murders, but their violent crimes in that country is almost at a staggering 0%. And the reason for this is because of this mandatory military service. Because once you leave the mandatory military service, guess what they give you? Here's your service weapon. The weapon that you went to basic training with and were given in basic training, and the one that you walked around with day in and day out, that is now your weapon. So for us, imagine everybody in the military who knows how to use an M4, who is perfectly capable of using an M4, who is almost, for the lack of better terms, surgical with an M4, is now given that very M4. I'm not going to break into that guy's house over there for the simple fact that he's got an M4 and he knows how to use it. He was trained on how to use that. I'm not going to go over there. So now everybody in our society is armed. 300 million people armed with M4 weapons, amongst other weapons that we're allowed to have. Do you think anybody is going to invade this country or do anything to anybody else? You don't know who's going to be armed. You don't know what's going to happen that way. And no country in their right mind, no matter if you've got the 6 billion or 600 billion Chinese who want to come in here, they're not going to invade that way. There's no way. On top of that, I'm going to add I believe it's Wyatt Earp that said it, or it was Sam Colt, one of those two, I'm not really sure. But they said that a armed society is a polite society. Again, it goes to that concept of you don't know what that guy's packing, you don't know where he's packing it, and you don't know if he's got it on him right now. So we're just going to leave that alone. And I would almost be willing to bet, I'd say a year of my paychecks, that our violent crimes would drop drastically. So in closing, I'd like to say that I want to make you a citizen by taking away your initial citizenship and making you do military service or any service of the helpful kind. Teachers, roads and grounds, again, anything. FDR did a great thing by giving everybody jobs. I'm doing the exact same thing. Pulling us out of the recession, depression, everything that we have right now, pulling us all out, making us all one nation again instead of individuals. That's my goal for King for the day. Hope you enjoyed my speech. Probably wasn't one of my better ones, especially since I'm standing here in my Kill Zombie shirt and my sweatpants. That's it. All right. Thank you very much.